Good evening and welcome to tonight's news bulletin, brought to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. But first, the headlines. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq greets His Excellency Mohammed Bazoum on the occasion of his election as the new president of Niger. His Excellency the Minister of Interior extends gratitude to His Majesty the Sultan for his kind royal directives, which crowned with the success of the works of the E-Census of Population, Housing and Establishments 2020. And traffic accidents are decreased by 84% in the last 9 years. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now live here we present to you the details. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sends a cabal of greetings to His Excellency President Mohammed Bazoum, President of the Republic of Niger, on the occasion of his election as the new president of his country. His Excellency Sayyid Hamoud bin Faisal Al Saidi, Minister of Interior and Chairman of the National Supreme Committee for E-Census of Population, Housing and Establishments 2020, expressed his honor and members of the committee to extend gratitude to His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq for his kind royal directives, which crowned with the success of the works of the electronic census. This came when His Excellency chaired today the meeting of the committee, during which it viewed the final report with the aim of raising the quality of administrative records or e-records and setting statistical bases. The committee has reviewed the final report of the Electronic Census Project 2020. The report highlighted the technical aspects related to the main phases of the project and the methodologies used in it. The meeting stressed that the electronic data system and the electronic portal that enables users to obtain interactively the results of the census are among the useful outcomes of the project. At the end of the meeting, His Excellency the Chairman of the committee expressed thanks and appreciation to their Excellencies, members of the Supreme Committee of the Census, for their achieved participations in serving aims of the census, valuing the active role played by the citizens and residents in cooperation or in cooperating with this big national project. The Sultanate's Economic Stimulus Plan, the ESP, endorsed by the Council of Ministers yesterday, is based on the 5 main axes. This plan comes within the framework of the procedures of the Fiscal Sustainability Plan 2020-2024, which aims at improving the financial position of the Sultanate, cut down the country's general debt and improve its global credit rating. More in the following report.
The royal blessing of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq to the Economic Stimulus Plan reflect the Sultan's keenness and interest in supporting the efforts made to ensure economic recovery and address the economic effects resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic by setting up appropriate mechanisms and procedures to ensure fast restoration of economic activities to normality and ensure continued economic growth rates. The Sultanate's Economic Stimulus Plan, ESP, endorsed by the Council of Ministers yesterday, is based on 5 main axes, namely incentives pertaining to taxes and fees, incentives to improve business and investment environment, incentives to boost small and medium enterprises, incentives for the labour market and employment, and banking incentives aimed at enhancing efforts to alleviate the impacts of COVID-19 pandemic on the national economy through a set of measures to support efforts of enhancing economic recovery, economic activities, and attracting foreign investments. This plan comes within the framework of procedures of the Fiscal Sustainability Plan 2020-2024, which aims at improving the financial position of the Sultanate, cut down the country's general debt, and improve its global credit rating. The Economic Stimulus Plan targets the diversification of the national economy during the 10th five-year plan. In particular, it lays emphasis on the sectors of converting industries, agriculture and fisheries resources, mining and mineral products, in addition to service, cultural, logistics and educational activities, and their supportive and complementary sectors. These measures are expected to contribute to reviving the local market, strengthening efforts to improve the business environment, attracting more investments, stimulating the institutions operating in economic diversification sectors identified in the 10th five-year plan, and protecting many institutions from suffering due to the current temporary economic and financial situation. The incentives will also complement the measures aimed at improving the social protection system for individuals, especially those who have been laid off from their jobs and borrowers.
And now joining us in the studio, His Excellency Qais bin Mohammed Al Yusuf, Minister of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion. Your Excellency, welcome to our studio here.
Good evening.
Your Excellency, it's a good opportunity for the Sultanate of Oman when His Majesty has announced this stimulus project here. Now, the government has announced on economic stimulus package. Could you tell us what it involves and what it targets at the same time?
Thank you very much. We are all honored that His Majesty the Sultan has blessed the economic stimulus plan. Mm-hmm. And this economic stimulus plan has been worked collectively by the whole government to reach where it is today, and worked collectively by a number of government agencies. And we are very honored that His Majesty has approved it and has blessed it. It comes at the right time when Oman and the world face a number of issues, including the pandemic, which has affected many businesses. It comes at the time when we have the fiscal. Also, it comes with a plan in very much in line with the fiscal medium-term plan. The economic stimulus plan now has 5 main pillars. Pillar number 1, it talks about some tax incentives and fees reduction. 2, it has a package for the SMEs to encourage SMEs. 3rd, it talks about the business and investment climate. 4, it's a package about employment and labor market. And 5 is about financial and banking sector.
These are the 5 pillars, and they are quite wonderful, actually, for the country's boosting the economy in the country. Now, can you tell us more specifically about the business investments climate?
Yes. So the stimulus includes a number of incentives to stimulate the business investment climate. It includes, number 1, reducing the commercial registration fees for any business, whether it is a foreign direct investment or in partnership with Omanis, that focuses on the economic diversification sectors that were mentioned in the 10th development plan. And we all know these are tourism, manufacturing, mining, fisheries, and logistics. So if you're a company or an investor establishing a business now in these 5 sectors, whether you're foreign direct investment 100% or in partnership with the Omani, your commercial registration fees will be reduced to the normal as if it is for 100% owned Omani companies. Number 2, immediately on establishing your business, you will get 3 visas or 3 work permits, regardless of the business, if you are in these sectors. So this allows you to immediately start operating without the need to get any further permits. Number 3, we're talking also about a plan where it's going to hopefully be announced very soon, that for a number of activities, looking maybe about, we have in the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion about 1,800 activities. We're trying to work to reduce the permits required for about 1,200 activities, that you can start the business immediately without needing any further permits upon establishing of the business. This will mean that you, upon having the company registered, you can immediately start operating your business. So this hopefully we're working on, and we hope to see this ready within a month. 4th, we're talking about the residency program, long-term residency program for investment in certain sectors with certain amounts, and that also will be announced soon. There is a new element, which is allowing foreign companies to own land, land which are more than 5,000 square meters, and these land have to be either commercial land or commercial residential land or tourism land or industrial land. These earlier companies were not allowed to own land.
Right.
And now with this stimulus, companies for the first time will be allowed to own land, provided certain conditions are met, that this land is to ease the company in operating its business, and it is not in the areas restricted it's allowed for foreign ownership. And the last one, which is also quite important, is we have always been, to reach this, we have been talking to a number of investors and the business community, and they were telling us that we want certain assurance that anything the government gives us will be there for long term. So under the stimulus as well, that the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion can enter into SLAs with strategic investors, of large investors, to assure them that any incentives we give them will be there for the medium to long term, to give them that comfort that they're welcome to Oman.
Your Excellency, the main thing that many business people, whether inside the country or outside the country, usually used to have difficulties with is that the approval. It takes very long. You have already mentioned here it will be that quick, but how long that quick we need to know?
So what we're trying to achieve with this new, we are working on a program with 8 other government agencies. And these other 8 government agencies, we went and we did a tracking of what approval an investor needs between commercial registration until the start of his business. Right. So we tracked this and we said, okay, let's go and find out what activities are most common and what activities are not considered high risk, and they're very small businesses or small. They don't require a lot of approvals. So we're trying to list those activities, and we're trying to reach a number of activities, maybe around 1,200 activities, that as soon as you register a company online, you will not need to go to anywhere else, and you can, as soon as you have the commercial registration, you will have what they call the auto approval. You will have immediately the approval to start your business. So this is, we're working very hard with our colleagues from the other government agencies. We are now working collectively as all the government entities responsible for the economic sector, and trying to see how further we can ease. And this, of course, is a directive from His Majesty Sultan, and he's very keen to see this happen. And of course, the cabinet is following up this eagerly to see this program being launched as soon as possible.
So this whole process will speed up the process, and people will be able to get the approval as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Your Excellency, the last thing that we would like to know, perhaps it's about, is there anything to do with the, specifically with the exporting?
Export is really important, and export for any economy helps in many ways. So we're trying, and this does not only help the larger companies, but also SMEs. Especially with having the e-commerce and going across borders. So it's very important that we find a package that how can we encourage further exports. And within the economic stimulus plan, there is one particular initiative which is to be developed in partnership between the Ministry of Commerce, Industry, Investment Promotion, Oman Development Bank, and Credit Oman, to find a package of how can we encourage Omani companies to export their products. And I think already Omani products are reached, and they have certain quality, and they're also competitive and of quality that's acceptable to many markets. So our job as a government to enable this and enable them, open new markets and find other incentives that we can encourage and see more Omani products around the world.
Around the world. Wonderful. Your Excellency, we would like to thank you very much, but before we finalize our discussions here, we would like to see if you have any other advice you want to give it to our viewers.
I think the advice is this is the right time to start your business in Oman. I know the situation, the pandemic has really created, it has some issues and has created some form of slowdown in the economy. But now, as with His Majesty and the cabinet following up eagerly, we have now the financial plan, financial medium, the Tawazun program being announced to help us on the financial side. Now the economic stimulus plan has been announced. I think this is the right time to have this plan which is well balanced between large businesses, small, medium enterprises, and foreign direct investments. I think this is the right time to start your business, and we are there to support. We're there to see what we can do to further enhance the business and investment climate.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for this interview. And as His Excellency has already said, this is the right time to start the business in Oman. His Excellency has reassured here that the message has come from His Majesty Sultan Qaboos on this particular economic stimulus plan, and we hope we will see the good thing in the country. That was His Excellency Qais bin Mohammed Al Yusuf, Minister of Commerce and Industry, Industry and Investment Promotion. Your Excellency, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Discussing the economic developments in the Sultanate and the incentives and investment opportunities available in various sectors were the focus of the second virtual meeting with Their Excellencies, the ambassadors of the Sultanate's missions in the Gulf Cooperation Council countries and Arab and African countries. The meeting also discussed the mechanisms and ways to attract and invite investors and importers in those countries to take advantage of the opportunities and facilities. This meeting comes with a series of meetings organized by the Minister of Commerce, Industry and Investments Promotion in cooperation with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the authorities concerned in the Sultanate. The Imam Jabir bin Zayed Waqf Foundation announces its executive plan for the coming years, as well as its first investment project at cost of 1.7 million Omani Riyals. More details in the following report.
The Imam Jabir bin Zayed Foundation, established in 2018 by His Eminence Sheikh Ahmed bin Hamad Al Khalili. Sheikh Ahmed had realized the importance of the synergy and collaborative efforts of the community. Therefore, he adopted an idea of setting up a waqf or an endowment project in which all the society's individuals can contribute. The aim of this foundation is to promote and develop certain interests relating to education and humanitarian causes. His Eminence proactively initiated the establishment of this Waqf Foundation with ambitious objectives driven by social responsibility and the necessity of building cooperation and solidarity between the society and the government institutions. In its first annual meeting, the Foundation announces its executive plan for the coming years, as well as its first investment project.
Well, alhamdulillah, today the Jabir bin Zayed Waqf Foundation announced its first project. We are launching this project, which is a 10-floor commercial residential building in Ghala Heights in Wilayat Bosher. The foundation will occupy few of its floors, and the other floors it will be a yielding investment to support the Waqf operations, and at the same time all the transactions that the Waqf Foundation is about to do to the community.
The foundation has also created, in collaboration with several entities, such as Oman Data Park, an online platform that eases participation in the endowment by allowing individuals to buy a share in it or even gift one to others.
Waqf plays a big role in our Islamic society, and taking advantage of the technology which combines the foundation and the portals to allow members of society to donate through the portal, which makes it easier for people to donate, whether it's for their loved ones or as well for themselves.
At the end of the meeting, the chairman of the board of directors of the foundation signs an agreement with the real estate development Zawaya to build its first investment project. The Imam Jabir bin Zayed Foundation announces its first few investment projects in its first annual meeting, aiming to spread awareness about endowments and social participation in them. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, Ahmed Mahmoud Al-Hanai, Muscat.
Thank you, Ahmed bin Mahmoud Al-Hanai there. Still to come in our news bulletin. Lobster fishing season continues in the southern coasts until the end of May. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The number of traffic accidents in the Sultanate decreased by 84% during the period from 2012 till 2020, according to statistics published by Royal Oman Police. This decline came despite increase in the number of vehicles and driving licenses during that period, thanks to awareness efforts conducted by the Royal Oman Police and other bodies concerned, and cooperation showed by all segments of the society. Traffic accidents decreased to 1,341 during last year, compared to more than 8,200 accidents in 2012. Now, Oman Tel and Hawaii entered a tri-party proof of concept memorandum of understanding with Hutchin Sport Sohar for showcasing successful utilizations of 5G infrastructure. More details in the following report.
To provide highly reliable communication services and improve operational efficiency, Omantel and Huawei signed a tri-party proof of concept POC memorandum of understanding with Hutchison Port Sohar for showcasing successful utilizations of the 5G infrastructure in 3 areas.
The importance of this agreement, it's built on the 5G technology. We believe that 5G will be transforming our lives on both personal and corporate levels through the various applications and the use cases that the technology is bringing on board. As the first and the leading telecom company in Oman, we continue to build our strategic partnerships and alliances with the various technology providers and the partners to enable the various organizations and the government entities onto their digital transformation journey, as well as to realizing Oman's Vision 2040.
Oman Huawei as Omantel strategic partner, we are very happy to be one part of this triangle partnership, which will bring 5G technology and smart port solution to Oman logistic industry. I do believe that 5G technology can bring new value to Sohar port transformation, including efficiency, security, and competitiveness, etc.
The smart surveillance with artificial intelligence (AI) will allow real-time surveillance of the port's loading and unloading transport area, monitor the sea tide, enhance ship container video surveillance, make AI-based intelligent video analysis, allow for AI-enabled unmanned detection, and generate an automatic alarm in real time in case of any fault.
Hutchison Port Sohar is putting continuous effort to bring in new technology and state-of-the-art equipment to the Sultanate of Oman in the past 15 years. Some recent examples like our Octogate system and also our e-Teslim online payment system, as well as the remote control system. Today we are very happy to sign this POC, 5G POC MOU with Omantel and Huawei.
The smart surveillance with artificial intelligence also includes leveraging artificial intelligence for health, safety, and environment compliance, and meeting future cost optimization goals. These technologies can be deployed in other port operation management scenarios and crane management. Revolutionizing the logistics and industrial sectors with advanced telecommunication services will help in attaining a robust and sustainable national economy that is based on technology and innovation. Salih Bakhalfan al-Rahbi, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
Thank you, Saleh. The Ministry of Health announced that the total number of COVID-19 cases registered in the Sultanate reached 145,257, while the total number of deaths reached 1,600. The total recovered cases reached 135,227, which is 93.1% of the total recovery rate. The ministry indicated that the total number of inpatients reached 208, among which 72 are in the intensive care units. Now, nurses and other healthcare teams are working closely with patients. They are engaged in many actions whose primary intent is to enhance health. However, their work is at an increased risk of falling ill, as the nature of their job puts them and all healthcare workers at an increased risk of catching any communicable diseases, including COVID-19. They follow all necessary hospital-specific protocols to reduce their risk of infection in interactions with COVID-19 patients. In turn, they expect all of us to follow the precautionary measures to reduce the number of increased COVID-19. Here is a message from a nurse, Shamsa Al-Sharji, at Khola Hospital Critical Care Unit.
We are receiving high numbers of COVID-19 patients in Khola Hospital. And we're trying to control the number of patients as we have certain beds in ICU. This crisis affected us a lot physically and psychologically. For example, let me give you an example. Yesterday, we received a young patient who has no medical disease. He came just for that he had a COVID-19 virus. He was transferred from a private hospital with no time patient get arrested. We tried to save him, to give the care that we're supposed to give, but we lost him. This has really affected us emotionally. Even his family had the same virus. So in this condition, it's really difficult for us. So we're trying to contact his family. No one is answering. Eventually, we got to know they are all affected in the hospital. So please try to follow the precaution measures, follow the advice of the Supreme Committee, stay safe, to help you, to help us, and thank you.
Now, we say thank you for good work that they all do. Let's all keep following precautionary measures, and we congratulate them on the occasion of Gulf Nurses Day. Once again, thank you for the good work that you do. The lobster fishing season continues in the governorates of the Far Wusta and South Sharqiya. Lobster is seen as an important sea wealth in the waters of the Sultanate. The season started in the beginning of this month and will continue until the end of May. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources enacted laws, regulations and researches in order to regulate activities during this season, in addition to applying the fishing law in cooperation with fishermen in order to ensure sustainability of this wealth. The ministry called on all fishermen to commit to the appropriate means of catching lobsters during this season and not to catch lobsters that carried eggs or were less than 8 centimeters long, aiming to protect this marine wealth. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq greets His Excellency Mohammed Bazoum on the occasion of his election as the new President of Niger. His Excellency the Minister of Interior extends gratitude to His Majesty the Sultan for his kind royal directives, which crowned with the success of the works of the E-Census of Population, Housing and Establishments 2020. And traffic accidents are decreased by 84% in the last 9 years. And with that, the end of tonight's news bulletin. We would like to remind you to keep following the precautionary measures of wearing face masks, washing hands, and keeping physical distance from each other. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studio, it's good night and stay safe.